Mind you, this man sent text messages to somebody that I was dealing with me and him having.
Cardi B has recently admitted that Offset intentionally shared an explicit video of her to Stefon Diggs using his personal account. Allegedly, Stefon Diggs invited Pry, the same woman with whom Offset had an affair, to his hotel room while he was attending the Super Bowl. This is where everything has begun. Because of what Offset just stated about Cardi.
All of my hoes still my hoes, that's for sure. All of my hoes still my hoes, and they know.
The entire internet is sure that she is going back to her previous relationship. Offset is currently sitting back and saying this. Let's get down to business. It is the clips. To begin, allow me to briefly set the stage for you because the celebrity love triangle that is currently taking place between Cardi B, Offset, and Stefon Diggs is, without a doubt, one of the most chaotic, dramatic, and jaw-dropping love triangles that we have witnessed in recent years. Because what we are dealing with involves alleged private footage that was distributed as a form of harassment, threats of physical violence, claims of emotional manipulation, and an NFL wide receiver who allegedly thought he could juggle more women than he juggles footballs. All of these things are happening simultaneously. Now, in order to comprehend how we arrived at this point, it is necessary to comprehend the origin of this entire situation. In addition, this necessitates going all the way back to the very beginning of the relationship that Cardi B and Offset originally shared. 2017 was the year that these two first began dating. Over the course of that same year, they tied the knot in a private ceremony that was kept a secret from everyone until several months later. People at the time believed that they were the epitome of the hip-hop power couple while they were together. Through her collaboration with Bodak Yellow, Cardi B was on fire and Offset was riding high with Migos. On the surface, everything appeared to be completely flawless, but when the doors were closed, things were anything but. As a result of the fact that during the course of their marriage, Offset allegedly committed sexual misconduct against Cardi B more than 50 times, as stated by Cardi B herself in public declarations. Please allow me to repeat that number more than 50 times. And this was not merely the result of bloggers on the internet engaging in arbitrary guesswork. Cardi B has come forward and stated that Offset cheated on her on multiple occasions, including during her pregnancy. She claims that this behavior caused her a great deal of emotional pain and even had an impact on the health of her children. It has been brought to her attention that the stress caused by the lies and the gaslighting was a contributing factor in the low birth weight of one of her children. At that point, that is not merely gossip about people who are famous. An example of this would be a lady telling you that her partner's actions caused her family to suffer physical injury. The 3 children that Cardi and Offset have together are theirs. In 2018, they welcomed a girl whom they named Culture. In the year 2021, they welcomed their first kid, a son named Wave. In September of 2024, they welcomed their 3rd child, which coincided with the beginning of all the chaos that we are about to enter. The initial petition for divorce that Cardi submitted was in the year 2020. Nevertheless, the couple ultimately reconciled. Subsequently, she filed for permanent divorce once more, this time in July of 2024, alleging disagreements that could not be reconciled. And that is when the actual fireworks began to occur, because it was around the month of October 2024 when the entire internet became aware of Cardi B and Stefon Diggs' relationship. DJ Academics, who went on a live stream and stated that Offset had found Cardi B was having an affair with an NFL player while she was 8 months pregnant with their 3rd kid, was the one who broke the news. DJ Academics was the one who broke the news. Offset allegedly searched through Cardi B's phone and discovered texts and evidence that lead directly to another man, as stated by DJ Academics during the investigation. Initially, he did not include Diggs in his statement. He made a reference to a player on his fantasy football squad, which was a hint at the possibility. However, it was not long before fans and media realized that he was referring to Stefon Diggs, who was currently playing for the Houston Texans at the time. And this is where things start to get really interesting, since Offset did not just sit on this information in silence. It was made public by him. Offset got into the comments section of one of Cardi B's Instagram lives and said that she needed to tell the truth about the fact that she had been intimate with someone else while she was carrying his child. What action did Cardi B take in response to this? The response that she gave was, and did. She went on X, which was once known as Twitter, and responded with 2 words that caused the internet to shake. In front of millions of people, she effectively validated the entire thing right there in front of them. She framed it as a lickback, which meant that she was seeking revenge for all of the misdeeds that Offset had committed against her. Offset, on the other hand, did not react positively to this in the slightest. Additionally, this is the point at which we arrive at the most unsettling aspect of the entire narrative. Due to the fact that Cardi B herself, in a series of stunning admissions that she made on X Spaces in late March 2025, Offset went on what can only be described as a full-scale harassment campaign against her after the divorce. Cardi B claims that Offset harassed her. During a live session that she named War, Cardi revealed that she had accused Offset of engaging in behavior that violates every conceivable boundary.
This guy, right, is upset because I sent his girlfriend text messages of him begging me, saying he was gonna take away his life.
It is her assertion that Offset was sending her frightening messages in which he threatened to take his own life as well as hers. However, it is not even the part that has the entire internet going crazy, because what Cardi said after that is what brought about the change in everything.
Mind you, this man sent text messages to somebody that I was dealing with me and him having
as a means of sabotaging her new relationship, humiliating her, and destroying her self-esteem.
That's the type of shit I've been dealing with for the past 2 months. Every time he knows that I go out of town, he harasses me.
She claimed that Offset had taken private and intimate film of the 2 of them from the time they were in a relationship and sent it directly to Stefan Diggs. This is not merely the actions of a minor's ex. This has been characterized as a type of intimate image abuse, which is illegal in many places across the United States, according to a number of legal experts and observers within the legal community. Cardi B was just laying it all out for the world to hear, and this is the kind of thing that can be extremely destructive to people's life. In addition to that, the claims continued. During the same X Spaces session, Cardi also asserted that Offset and his new girlfriend had been leaving threatening and sexual voicemails on her phone. Cardi's complaints were made during the same session. She said that he had collaborated with bloggers in order to smear her reputation by providing them with stories and storylines that would make her appear unfavorable in the eyes of the public. Additionally, she stated that Offset had threatened to harm her, as well as to take his own life if she did not return to him. This is possibly the most terrifying of all the statements that she made. This is the definition of emotional manipulation that is found in textbooks, and it gives a pretty bleak picture of what was going on behind the scenes. During the month of January 2026, a video that included Offset and the online sensation Selena Powell was made public. In the video, Offset is seen allegedly making threats against Diggs while on a FaceTime session with Powell. Additionally, there were audio recordings that were leaked, in which Offset is said to have discussed robbing Diggs and shooting him in the knee. It is unclear if the threats were genuine or merely the result of the heat of the moment, but regardless, they brought an additional layer of gloom to a situation that was already problematic. Cardi B responded to the Selena Powell video on social media with a dismissive tone, attempting to minimize its significance. Nevertheless, the harm had already been done. The fact of the matter is that this was not even the first time that private information about Cardi B had been threatened or exposed. In the year 2017, hackers were responsible for the release of information that was reportedly filmed by Offset, as well as footage of Cardi B from her earlier career. And in 2018, the couple shared a simulated intimate video as a joke, which makes the current situation even more challenging to deal with because it demonstrates a history of their private life being intertwined with their public image. On the other hand, there is a significant distinction between the act of deciding to share something on your own terms and the act of having someone weaponize that content against you without your consent. Moving forward in time, Cardi B was attempting to start a new life with Stefan Diggs at the same time that all of this was taking place. Between the months of February and February 2025, Around Valentine's Day, they were seen together in Miami. They become official on Instagram by the month of June 2025. As well as that, Cardi B gave birth to her fourth kid, which was her first child with Diggs, in November of 2025. It seemed like a new beginning of sorts. On the other hand, there were allegations that Diggs purportedly welcomed many children with different women in the year 2025 alone. Kiana Barber was one of the names that emerged. It was then that Pry appeared, who is said to be the same woman that had been associated to Offset in the past and who is now supposedly spotted with Diggs. Another unexpected turn of events occurred when beauty guru Jeffree Star accused Diggs of sneaking into his direct messages. Additional fuel was added to the fire when former partners such as Mia Imani Jones and Sky Marlene came out with allegations and old recordings against the defendant. Despite the fact that Offset's predicament involves more than simply adultery, Cardi B has stated publicly that if Diggs were to cheat on her or have a child behind her back, the relationship would be finished. There is one strike. That was the standard operating procedure. After that, on February 8, 2026, the Super Bowl LX took place. The stadium known as Levi's. The Seattle Seahawks will be competing against the New England Patriots. According to the plan, this was going to be Diggs's crowning moment. There were even discussions of making a proposal in the event that they were victorious. There were a variety of betting odds available. Cardi was a sensation. It was stated that she had spent $1.2 million on an after-party expenditure. Everything was properly arranged. However, red flags were already flying before to the start of the game. When Cardi B was asked about Diggs at the Fanatics pregame party, she immediately responded with a brief and terse, "Good luck." A blogger by the name of Tasha K was allegedly sharing receipts that showed Diggs and Pry attending an NFL practice together. It could not have come at a more inconvenient time. Next, the game began to play out. The Patriots were defeated by a score of 29-13. Diggs had a performance that was quite quiet. The Seahawks quarterback Josh Jobe and Diggs got into a heated argument during the fourth quarter of the game. The animosity between the two players escalated. Meanwhile, during the halftime break, Cardi B made an unexpected appearance alongside Bad Bunny. She wore a sheer boudoir-coated corset dress that was the center of attention. A moment was created by the performance. On the other hand, something catastrophic occurred at some point between the halftime appearance and the final whistle. That very instant, the internet realized that the situation had reached its conclusion. Everywhere in the planet, people heard the unfollow. But why is that? In the time that passed between the halftime show and the final whistle, what transpired that caused both of them to click the button that deletes their follower status? Cardi B reportedly left the stadium early while the game was still going on, even though there were several claims to the contrary. After observing one of Stefon Diggs's other baby mothers sitting front and center with their newborn child while wearing his jersey, it was reported that the baby mama was wearing his jersey. Just picture that. You arranged a party for this individual that cost $1.2 million. During the halftime show, you gave a performance. When you look over in the stands, you notice another woman sitting there with another one of his babies wearing his number as if she too belongs there. You have his child at home, and you see her sitting there with him. It would appear that this was the thing that did it. The aftermath was really violent. There was not a single member of the pair present at the after-party that cost $2 million. Cardi B and Diggs did not appear at the event. According to the reports, Cardi B crashed out of the event in real time and left the place while singing in her vehicles. Cardi B and Stefon had recently ended their relationship, according to a source who spoke to Entertainment Tonight. However, the source also mentioned that it was possible for the two of them to get back together and that this may be a temporary situation. However, fans did not feel optimistic about the situation. A screenshot that went viral showed what appeared to be Cardi B calling Diggs a disgrace to the game and Diggs responding by saying, "You're a disgrace to music." However, here is the thing. In reality, Diggs was not a disgrace to music. That conversation was disproved as being entirely manufactured, and it was posted by a fan account that was attempting to stir up controversy. Even without individuals, Making things up, the true drama was already a shambles when it happened. As a result of the unrelenting similarities that have been made between Offset and Diggs, this is the topic that everyone keeps going back to. Reddit users were perplexed as to why the National Football League, NFL, would even market Diggs and Cardi as a pair, since both of their histories were so widely known. Users were criticizing Diggs for his pattern of behavior on X, with some users claiming that sports fans had been warning everyone for months about Diggs' bad behavior. And now, with Cardi B's relationship with Diggs in shambles, with the embarrassment from the Super Bowl still fresh, with those baby mamas still in the picture, and with Offset sitting somewhere watching all of this unfold with what I can only imagine is the most satisfied smirk in the world, the question that inevitably arises is, what happens next? Because a podcast episode that was released quite some time ago has recently reappeared at the most inconvenient time for all of the individuals concerned. To add insult to injury, the comments that Offset made on that show have caused the internet to ask a question that nobody anticipated. This completes the circle. A weird occurrence took place on the internet at the same time that Cardi B was dealing with the repercussions of the Super Bowl fiasco and the very public demise of her romance with Stefon Diggs. As a result of the fact that an older edition of the Call Her Daddy podcast, which was presented by Alex Cooper, was published to YouTube again around the 6th of February 2026, only 2 days before the Super Bowl. A number of eyebrows were instantly raised due to the time of the re-upload. As a result of the fact that this was not a new debate, people online were extremely angry. Before the ultimate divorce petition was submitted in 2024, before the affair with Diggs was made public, before the allegations of intimate film, and before all of this, this was a throwback to a period when Offset and Cardi were still technically married.
Ring? Is Cardi getting her ring?
It's on the agenda, maybe, right? I gotta get mine first, though.
However, by reappearing in February 2026, just as Cardi's world was once again coming apart, it created this peculiar and even eerie contrast between who Offset claimed he was at the time and who Cardi claims he became. Alex Cooper questioned Offset on his first encounter with Cardi B, and Offset did not hold back when he was asked about it. He related how he had an encounter with her online and how she captivated him with her genuineness, confidence, rawness, and the fact that she was unashamedly herself were all qualities that she possessed. As he was speaking, he remarked, "This is a funny girl."
Just woke back up, but social media is clowning Cardi B because it was shown that she unfollowed Stefon Diggs and he unfollowed her after the Super Bowl. To add insult to injury, they claim she actually left the Super Bowl a little after the halftime show.
After saying, "She's a cool girl," he took his shot and made it count. He was successful. However, the moment that really hits home is when Cooper asked him how he knew Cardi was the destined one. It was not mentioned that Offset was famous. He did not discuss the subject of money. When it came to music, he did not speak. Family was a topic of discussion. It was not the influence in the industry, the chart positions, or the number of followers that he was interested in, but rather the home prices. The fact that he was brought up by his mother and grandmother, both of whom were powerful women, was something he discussed. Cardi B's ability to care for her family was lauded by him, and he referred to her as the backbone of the family, the person who keeps everything together. Listening to those words at this moment, in the midst of all this mayhem, is precisely the reason why people on the internet continue to wonder whether this tale is truly ending or whether it is in some way returning to the point where it began. Simply spending time at home with the children. It was his response to that. Home. Not vacations, not award shows, not red carpets, and not award shows. In addition, he went on to explain that their work schedules were so demanding that the moments of peace and quiet that they had at home were the ones that counted the most among all of them. Additionally, he discussed the affair that occurred within the marriage. He acknowledged that he had made errors, music stating that he had gotten married at the age of 26 while he was a mega superstar, and that he had been self-centered in his efforts to re-establish trust. He stated that the most important thing was to show respect for her position, to refrain from being self-centered, and to communicate honestly with her. According to the reporting that Billboard did on the episode, he stated that what he did was selfish music, and that it was her turn to be selfish. He also stated that he was fortunate to have a faithful one. In his statement, he stated that he did not want to lose her for whatever reason, and that he loved her more than he could possibly communicate through music. And in reference to the subject of fatherhood, he discussed how the arrival of his children brought about a total shift in his priorities.
Eventually married Cardi. What was your first impression of her?
I had seen her online first, right? And I just loved the way how raw she was and how confident she was. Like
that once you have children, you become the least important thing in the world, and everything revolves around being selfless for them. Hearing all of that in the year 2026, after everything that has occurred, is a very different experience, and the internet certainly made that point quite plain.
I thought would nobody think nothing, and it's like, damn, that's fire. Like, funny, great personality, from what I can see.
It was a battleground in the comments section of YouTube on the re-upload. An individual,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, this is a funny girl, she's a cool girl. And then I shot my shot and I switched it.
Who left a remark stated that Cardi B is subject to a restraining order against this individual and that it is offensive to rebroadcast the episode. Someone else wrote that they should cease providing this individual a platform. Others brought out the fact that the episode was obviously rather old and questioned the reason for its current posting, with the obvious implication being that it...
How did you go from being like, oh my God, I want to meet that girl, going on a date? How did you know she was the one?
First off, she's a family person, right? So I pay attention to...
was scheduled to coincide with the drama that occurred during the Super Bowl football game. An entire thread with the headline, "Offset spoke of his marriage with Cardi B like they're still together," appeared on the Call Her Daddy subreddit of...
like, music and all that. That shit never mattered. That's not what I look at. I look at like your home values, because I'm from the South, so I'm raised by my mother and my grandmother. So I come from strong women. And I see how dedicated and determined she was to...
Reddit. I'm not sure what exactly is going on here. Music users in that post were eager to emphasize that the episode was from the year 2023 music, and that he was officially still married at the time of the event. One of the users pointed out that in some places, a divorce must be formalized after a significant amount of time has passed, which means that he might continue to refer to her as his wife. Another music commenter criticized the timing, pointing out that Cardi had previously made an appearance on the same podcast in September 2025 during an episode titled Music, Cardi B Drama, Divorce and Digs, in which she discussed shifting.
Like, when I hear the story, she still was helping the family with that little money. And it's like her grind and her focus, you can't tell.
Her focus away from Offset relationships. Consequently, the juxtaposition of Offset speaking affectionately about their marriage and Cardi speaking about leaving it was uncomfortable for many who were listening to the conversation.
And it's the same way with me. Like, you can't tell me nothing. There's nothing you can tell me I can't do at all. I don't care what you think. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna show you I can do it. It's that determination.
Regarding X, the responses were even more pointed than before. One person commented that Offset has just demonstrated once more.
Yeah, she's solid.
Solid.
What's your favorite thing to do together as a couple?
Just being at the crib with the kids running wild.
That it may take him another 10 years to truly get over his ex-wife Cardi B. Another user stated that Offset has demonstrated once more that it is going to take him the next 10 years to get over her, and this post received over 250 likes. Users were referring to him as the poster boy for discovering what you had on Facebook at an inappropriately late hour. One of the posts that went viral stated that after watching Offset on the Call Her Daddy interview, it appeared as though he was finally coming to terms with the fact that it was over. This post received close to 800 views. This draws us to the current moment because this is what is happening right now in real time. Another Instagram post addressed the million-dollar question: how do you describe a woman with this many positive qualities and still fumble her? This leads us to the present moment. It is not the case that Offset is merely observed in the background. He is making a lot of noise. Following their breakup after the Super Bowl, Offset has been publicly making fun of Cardi's situation on the internet. he has been making fun of her for leaving him, only to end up in a scenario that is perhaps even more difficult. Fans have pointed out that Offset is beginning to appear like a saint in comparison to Stefon Diggs, which is saying something considering the charges of adultery that have been made against him for more than 50 years. As a form of provocation, he has been picking on her regarding Diggs' involvement with their children, pointing out things like Diggs and Cardi's son getting matching braids as an example. Over the course of everything that has transpired, Offset has maintained a particular vibe that conveys, without explicitly stating it, that I am still right here. At that particular moment, the clip provides you with all the information you require concerning music and where Offset's brain is at. There is no way that he will leave. According to him, he is a permanent fixture in Cardi's life. As a result of Diggs' phenomenal performance on the most prestigious platform in the world of music athletics, a growing number of individuals are beginning to believe that he may be correct. The consequences of all of this have been extremely significant. Due to the stress caused by all that was going on, Cardi B decided to cancel her tour in January of 2026. Diggs, on the other hand, was facing with his own unrelated assault and strangulation allegations from December 2025. Music Cardi had publicly defended their relationship by posting claimed messages from the complainant, stating that it was a misunderstanding. According to reports, his colleagues do not allow him to date their sisters because of his reputation. This reveals a great deal about how the people who know him best take a look at his personal life. Fans of sports and music argued on the subreddit rNFLv2 how Diggs' difficult past, which includes lawsuits and charges, stands in stark contrast to the hero narrative that the National Football League attempted to construct around him in preparation for the Super Bowl of football. And despite all of this, the music community on the internet continues to be quite divided. On one side, there are others who believe that this is Cardi B's way of taking revenge. They dispute that she left Offset for another man when she was pregnant with his child, and now she is experiencing what it is like to be betrayed from the other side as she is listening to music. Her lick back with Diggs is cited as the moment, music, she set this entire series of events in motion, according to those who have witnessed it.
Hello. Yeah, Northside baby, man. Y'all niggas can't get rid of me. I'm like cancer.
On the other hand, there are many who believe that Cardi B has been subjected to a pattern of repeated abuse. A woman who has been subjected to more than 50 incidents of adultery, who has supposedly been harassed for her intimate information, who has gotten threats against her life, and who is now being mocked for attempting to find happiness elsewhere, is going through a difficult time. Offset has expressed his dissatisfaction with Diggs' involvement with their children, while Cardi B has praised Diggs for being someone who truly shows up as a father. Co-parenting continues to be a contentious issue. At this point, we have arrived at the topic that everyone is discussing, but nobody can verify it. There are murmurs, whispers, and speculations going around. Since the Super Bowl was unfollowed, ever since the $1.2 million party that nobody came, ever since Offset returned with his podcast and those social media barbs, people have been speculating whether Cardi B might genuinely go back to Offset. This is because of the fact that Offset has been making headlines. This is beyond unfathomable. To me, it seems like the very worst thing that could ever take place. Take into consideration the pattern. Prior to the year 2020 music, they had previously broken up and then reunited. Both on that podcast and in his presence on social media, Offset has made it abundantly clear that he is not moving on with his life anymore. In spite of this, he continues to talk about her as if she were the best thing that has ever occurred to him. And despite all of her toughness and pride in her independence, Cardi has always had a soft spot for the man with whom she created a family in the music industry. 3 of their children are shared. One another has a common past. And now that the man she left him for has turned out to be, according to many reports, an even bigger disappointment, the door that everyone thought was firmly shut might be cracking open with each passing day.